Acting President drives home a message of hope to oil communities in Benin. All is clear for smooth flight operations in Kaduna. Former governor shown the way for life behind bars. Plus, independent petroleum marketers say no more strikes over supplies. Good evening. Thanks for joining us on NTA Network News. I'm Cyril Stover. The federal government has promised to quickly put in place a mechanism that will bring about rapid development in the Niger Delta region. Acting President Professor Yemi Osinbajo stated this in Benin in continuation of his visit to the oil-producing areas.
The state has 11 oil-producing communities that have for many decades been contributing to the economic growth of the country. Community leaders and other stakeholders say the region has, despite its contribution to the economic growth of the nation, suffered neglect in terms of provision of infrastructures. They identified corruption as the reason for their woes. The acting president, who regretted the years of neglect, identified corruption as responsible for the lack of infrastructure in the region. He said government will prioritize provision of infrastructure in the region with a view to uplift the living standard of the people. Professor Osinbajo disclosed that a review mechanism will be set up to constantly review projects in the region with strict monitoring. The acting president said all abandoned projects in the region will be revisited and ensure their completion.
It's a story of neglect, it's a story in many cases of corruption that has deprived our people, and especially people in the oil-producing communities, of their means of livelihood for so many years. That is one of the issues that we intend to address.
Edo State Governor Godwin Obaseki thanked the acting president for the visit and said his administration has provided youth empowerment programs to divert the attention of the youth to meaningful venture.
Edo State welcomes the bold and progressive initiative which you, our acting president, have taken. And we want to assure you, as you have heard from the various stakeholders, that we are prepared to support and work with the federal government.
Both Minister of State for Petroleum, Emmanuel Ibekachuku, and that of Niger Delta, Osani Uguru Osani, promised their commitment to the development of the region. In Abuja, Ilyas.
The leadership of the Independent Petroleum Marketers Association, IPMAN, has suspended its scheduled nationwide strike following the intervention of the Group Managing Director of the NNPC, Mekan Tibaru. Chairman of the IPMAN Committee on Forex Intervention, Product Sourcing and Distribution, Alhaji Musa, said the meeting with the GMD, where peace was brokered, also addressed all the pending issues concerning the association. IPMAN, whose members own 19,000 out of the 25,000 registered fuel outlets across the country, had resolved to work with the NNPC in ensuring products availability.
After talking with GMD and the top management of NNPC, they assure us that there is all our number one, our equalization, PEF, 2, Forex, 3, and product supply and pricing are going to be restored. Expect that product will get to every nook and cranny of this nation, and you are going to get it at the normal price it's supposed to be. And I assure the Federal Republic of Nigeria and every other member, every other citizen of Nigeria, that henceforth you are going to get the product, as because we have finished discussion with GMD, and has assured us that all the things we have lost for some time, Vandals has taken from us, that he's going to restore us the same thing back to us.
And staying with the oil sector, 7 and former executives of the Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation, NNPC, are to appear before the Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream to respond to allegations on the importation of petroleum products. This was the resolution at the end of the committee's meeting. National Assembly correspondent Abdullahi Aminu reports.
The Nigerian National Petroleum Corporation is to provide the committee with the documents relating to the 5.2 trillion naira subsidy from 2006 to date. The chairman of Senate Committee on Petroleum Downstream, Senator Kabiru Marafa, said it is in addition to the revenue received from the sale of 445 million barrels of crude oil, an alleged award of contracts for petroleum products importation to selected marketers at discounted value.
The leadership of the National Assembly is desirous of carrying a holistic investigation into this issue. So
indigenous companies engaged in Nigeria's oil and gas business, inspection companies and independent providers of energy information are also to appear before the committee. From the National Assembly, Abdullahi Aminu, NTA News.
And the need for international oil companies operating in Nigeria to maintain the rules of engagement to ensure that industrial wastes are not released into the environment has been emphasized. It was when the House Committee on Environment and Habitat inspected the Chevron Nigeria Limited gas plant at Escravos, Delta State. National Assembly correspondent Kenneth Nanim reports.
Having received brief from the management of Chevron Nigeria Limited on its general operations at the gas plant, the committee members demanded more explanations on how the company deals with waste management, oil spill response, host community relationship, its social corporate responsibility, including employment and capacity building of the people of the area, as well as general security of the facilities. The members inspected various departments of the gas plant. Explanations by Chevron Nigeria Limited revealed that an incinerator plant has been put in place with a complex technology process to reduce toxic waste to its barest minimum before proper disposal. The members also received explanations on efforts by the company to quickly respond to oil spill when such is brought to their notice. Chevron pointed to pipeline vandalism and other nefarious activities of militants in the Niger Delta as major challenges. While the inspection team settles to streamline issues under discussion, the attention of the lawmakers were drawn to the drastic reduction of gas flaring from 350% in 2008 to 26% in 2016.
We continue to sensitize communities on the impacts and implications of these illegal activities on their communities and even on their own environment.
We're agreeing to what every other person is saying to United Nations Framework on Convention on Climate Change to reduce carbon emission, also for us to reduce gas flaring.
The proposed first National Legislative Summit on Environment is expected to address all ecological issues for a healthy habitat and for national development. Kenneth Nanim, NTA News.
The federal government has called on former President Goodluck Jonathan to desist from engaging in buck passing over the issue of the Chibok schoolgirls who were abducted under his watch, calling such action an unnecessary distraction from ongoing efforts to secure the release of the girls who remain in captivity long after they were abducted.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed. The statement followed the former president's reaction to the report by a British newspaper that the British Armed Forces offer to attempt to rescue the girls were rebuffed by the then President Jonathan. The statement pointed out that while former President Jonathan reserves the right to defend his administration, he should not engage in buck passing by saying some people who have obviously been playing politics with the issue of the Chibok girls will stop at nothing to further their interest, stressing that if anyone ever played politics with the issue of the Chibok girls, it was the administration under whose watch the girls were abducted. To this end, the statement maintained that after the girls were kidnapped and the Jonathan administration did nothing for all the 15 days or make any determined efforts to rescue them, thereafter, the then opposition APC told the nation several times that the whole Boko Haram crisis was allowed to escalate by the PDP-controlled federal government so they can use it as a political tool ahead of the 2015 elections. In a statement it issued on 8 September 2014, Lai Mohammed said 2.5 years after the statement, APC has been vindicated by the report that claimed President Jonathan rebuffed an attempt by the British government to help rescue the girls. The statement hoped the former president will refrain from stoking further controversy over the lingering abduction issue and allow the government of the day to focus on its ongoing negotiations to rescue the release of the Chibok girls.
With the closure of the Nnamdi Azikiwe International Airport, Abuja, from 12 midnight on Wednesday, the 8th of March, for 6 weeks, the federal government says the Kaduna International Airport is in top form to commence full operation. Anthony Forson reports that this was the submission of the federal government at a World News Conference in Abuja.
In attendance at the news conference were Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, Minister of Transportation, Rotimi Amechi, Minister of State for Aviation, Hadis Rika, representative of the Minister of Works, Power and Housing, and the Inspector General of Police.
In the case of Abuja Airport, for 34 years, neither surface cleaning has been done, nor resurfacing, and it is deteriorated. So what we are doing is actually construction, and there's no other alternative than to close the runway.
They emphasize and crave the indulgence of Nigerians that the whole exercise is in the interest of safety, which is the key word in aviation.
I was part of the visit to the Kaduna Airport. The tarmac is ready. You saw that we took a drive on the tarmac with the acting president. The tarmac is not a problem.
Responding to questions, the ministers and the Inspector General of Police alleged the fears being entertained.
Kaduna is an international airport, a seasonal international airport. Flights out to international or to countries outside than Nigeria are being conducted in Kaduna, even in its present state.
Please, all passengers coming from Lagos can meet the train between 8 and 9. If you leave by the 7 o'clock flight, you can meet the train that will bring you into Abuja.
While Air Ethiopia has indicated its willingness to fly to Kaduna, other airlines such as Lufthansa and Turkish Air are expected to also indicate their willingness to use Kaduna Airport. On movement to and from Abuja, the Minister of State Aviation, Hadis Rika, explained that shuttle buses have been made available to convey passengers, while for those who may wish to use the Kaduna-Abuja train, they are also free. He added that for those who may wish to engage the services of helicopter, it is also available. The Inspector General of Police, on his part, explained that the heavy security network has been designed to provide maximum security during the operation.
Our helicopters have been deployed for the past 1 week to be carrying out periodic surveillance of those areas. And like I stated, everything is going on according to plan.
In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
And the Inspector General of Police, Ibrahim Idris, has challenged officers and men of the force to ensure their immediate communities feel the impact of modern democratic policing by being responsive to the people they serve. He stated this at the commencement of a Train the Trainer seminar organized in collaboration with the British High Commission's Conflict and Security Office, Abuja. Edino Justice has details.
Since the successful running over of Sambisa Forest by the military, the immediate concern is the military handed over to civil authority in the region as peace has returned. The Inspector General of Police said part of that preparation is this training workshop on handling post-conflict issues in line with international practices.
Democratic policing is based on the principle of responsibility, accountability, a police that responds to the yearnings of the community they serve.
The challenge of being able to make people feel secure is indeed one of the most difficult, and I commend you.
So we're looking at those that have been displaced within the host community and also within the camps.
They are expected to deliver to a wider theme within Borno State Police Command. In a similar development, 28 police officers drawn from police training institutions and units who participated in a one-week course on human rights promotion and protection of citizens' rights have graduated. It was organized in collaboration with the United States Embassy, Abuja.
This training has offered the participants a golden opportunity to equip themselves with the necessary skills, knowledge, and attitude.
You can demonstrate to the community that the police can be trusted.
The program has been very, very interesting.
It makes our job easier, and the community will begin to have trust in us.
The officers were taken through on various aspects of protection of human rights, aiding of justice. NTA News.
President Muhammadu Buhari has commiserated with former head of state General Yakubu Gowon over the death of his younger sister, Kandemata Audu. The president, who called from London, extended his deepest condolences to General Gowon and family, urging them to take solace in the fact that Mrs. Audu lived a worthy and exemplary life. President Buhari urged all to keep praying and working to live a life that pleases the Creator and benefits humanity. He also prayed for comfort for the grieving family and rest for the soul of the departed. General Gowon thanked President Buhari and assured him that he will not relent in praying for the unity and progress of the country, adding that Nigerians are also praying for the president's quick recovery. And you can watch this broadcast live online via the NTA mobile app, which you can download on your Android device at the Google Play Store or at the Apple Store if you use devices with iOS. And still to come on Network News, a departed minister gets honor when we return.
I've waited so long for this game.
There's a problem with this car.
What's happening? No. Please, guys, not my time. I'm making a problem for my face. Do this thing now. We are not missing the match. You like going? Hello, hey. What? Nice. On a try. Oh. Hold on, guys. Glow can actually borrow me data. So let's get back to watching it. I told you.
Borrow me data from Glow. Dial *321#, even if your account balance is 0.
The largest data network, Glow, grandmasters of data.
The National Examinations Council, NECO, wishes to inform the general public that the registration for the 2017 National Common Entrance Examination for admission into federal government unity colleges has commenced. Closing date, 27th March 2017. Forms are available at federal government colleges, state ministries of education, and NECO state offices nationwide. All payments should be made into NECO Treasury Single Account, TSA, in any of the commercial banks. Sale of forms closes 27th March 2017, and the examination is 8 April 2017. Professor Charles B.U. Uwakwe, Registrar Chief Executive, Announcer.
Hello. I just got back from the States and I need a SIM so I can have a number.
Bonus you need.
What's nyafu?
If you join MTN, you go enjoy bonus bracket.
What's bracket?
See, any bonus we then give you, you go fit to do anything where you like with them. Chatting, browsing, texting, calling, to any network for Nigeria, and no condition at all. Completely freedom. Everything about you.
What's buckle?
If you buy the charge card 100 naira, they go give you 600 naira. If you call the charge 200 naira, as a big baby that you is now, they will give you 1,200 naira.
Hey, brother, show me the way now.
Get an MTN SIM, register it, and get 6 times of all your recharges every time you recharge, and much more.
MTN, everywhere you go.
Hello?
Welcome to the M6 Challenge. Using your new Gioni M6, carry out everything on that list. Starting now. Get to the door. Congratulations, you have passed the test.
Gioni M6 with a 5,000 milliampere battery that lets you go on for 2 days on a single charge.
Gioni M6, always in power.
Babe, who be this? You
I got this, okay? Just...
Found it. Honey, you can keep him. I've got this.
Do anything to get your Airtel SIM back on if you haven't used it for 30 days or more to enjoy 20 times the recharge value. Recharge 100 Naira and dial *241# to get 2,000 Naira.
50? No, there's a girl.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The attention of the Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, SGF, has once again been drawn to the nefarious activities of some criminal elements in the society who have devised yet another devilish method of defrauding unsuspecting members of the public by impersonating the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Engineer Babachir David Lawal. They seek monetary gratifications from their victims who, as usual, they are sure of employment in the public service or outright political appointments. Department of State Services, DSS, and other security agencies have been informed and are working assiduously to curb the occurrence of this ugly phenomenon. Some culprits have indeed been apprehended. For the avoidance of doubt, some of the numbers they used are as follows. Members of the public are therefore hereby advised to be aware of fraudulent callers impersonating the SGF and indeed other top government functionaries. The general public are once again reminded that the federal government of Nigeria has established verifiable channels of communicating with individuals, groups, and organizations. If in doubt, contact the press unit, Office of the Secretary to the Government of the Federation, Shehu Shagari Complex, Abuja, for clarifications on all matters of public concern. Bolaji Adebiyi, announcer.
Following the approval of the whistleblowers policy by the Federal Executive Council and its launch by the Minister of Finance, Mrs. Kemi Adeosun, patriotic Nigerians have been making inquiries on how and where they could deliver information that could lead to the stopping or uncovering of fraud to the appropriate authority and answers to frequently asked questions. The Federal Minister of Finance has therefore dedicated a telephone line for receiving SMS, a whistleblowers portal, and an email address through which members of the public who volunteer to disclose information about a possible misconduct or violation could deliver such information for the attention of the team dedicated to process such information.
This message is brought to you by the Federal Ministry of Information and Culture.
Thanks for staying with us on the news. Information and Culture Minister Lai Mohammed has restated the federal government's commitment to developing the creative industry to be a major contributor to national economic growth and social development. It was during discussions with veteran Nigerian music maestro King Sunny Ade. Anthony Forsin reports.
Who went down memory lane recalled the musical exploits of the ace musician, saying he was second to none.
A man has practiced his craft for 50 years and is still going stronger because the energy, the passion, the dexterity with which he performs. To me, I think King is first an entertainer before being a musician.
King Sunny Ade's achievements, the minister said, made him stand out both at home and abroad, earning Nigeria a pride of place in the entertainment world. In the same vein, the minister said the federal government is also working towards providing the necessary infrastructure that will enable entertainment thrive at minimum cost. Earlier, King Sunny Ade had told the minister that his visit was a thank you mission to express appreciation to the minister for his commitment in moving the nation's entertainment industry to greater heights. King Sunny Ade, who turned 70, presented a customized T-shirt to the minister as a souvenir and pledged to be a change ambassador to the Change Begins With Me campaign. In Abuja, Anthony Forson, NTA News.
A one-year remembrance of departed former Minister of State for Labour and Employment, James Ocholi, was held in Abuja with the first public lecture on topical issues that were very close to his heart. Coinciding with the date of his death is a book presentation which captures his ideologies, values and principles. Labour correspondent Emmanuel Ayimiro reports.
James Ocholi, his wife Blessing and son Joshua died in a motor accident on the 6th of March 2016. His son, Enojo, says he missed a dream to argue a case in court together with his father.
Never got to appear with him. We both shared a joke. He told me that now that I've been called to bar, we can go on side by side one of these days, and I was like, yes.
The lecture dwells on looking backward to move Nigeria forward, as encapsulated in recommendations found in the late Ocholi's memo.
There must be a systemic approach to address the multifarious problem facing the nation.
Presided over by Minister of Science and Technology, Dr. Ogbonaya Onu, with 7 other ministers and associates. He says late Ocholi always found solutions to every challenge that confronted him.
He was able to rise to the peak of his own profession.
He was in charge of the conciliation meetings in oil and gas and in the health sector.
He brought at least peace to the health sector, and also peace to the oil and gas sector.
During the APC formation process, I and the governor of my state had some political disagreements, and it was late Ocholi who came down from Abuja to Ibadan to reconcile me and the governor.
The 125-page book captured late James Ocholi's trial, struggles, and lessons that can help younger ones to overcome difficulties.
He utilized every opportunity as if that was his last day, and that has become the legacy, that everybody has known him with.
Emmanuel Ayemiro, NTA News.
The House of Representatives Committee on Banking and Currency says the amendment of the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act will check excesses associated with non-performing loans by banks. The committee at a public hearing also observed that the House is set to amend the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria Act. National Assembly correspondent Ignatius Nkwo reports.
The public hearing is in respect of 4 economic bills under consideration in the House of Representatives. These include a bill for an act to amend the Nigeria Sovereign Investment Authority Act and a bill for an act to repeal the People's Bank of Nigeria Act.
The moment in history in which we stand right now in the life of our beloved nation is one that will not forgive financial or economic recklessness.
The chairman of the committee, Representative Jones Onyerere, observed that the amendment of the Bank and Other Financial Institutions Act will create deposit funds to be domiciled in the Central Bank of Nigeria for dormant accounts.
And eliminate the possibility of banks converting dormant account balances into income, and to strengthen risk management and internal control processes.
That the fund actually at that particular point is already a pool fund, which does not belong to anybody at that point.
This is part of measures by the House of Representatives to ensure that Nigeria's banking industry conforms to global best practice. From the National Assembly, Ignatius Nkwo, NTA News.
And still on non-performing loans, the Central Bank of Nigeria needs to take immediate action to check the rising incidence of non-performing loans by insiders in the banking industry. These were expert views on NTA's flagship program, Good Morning Nigeria. Lydia Sampson reports.
Bank directors responsible for 40% of the 1.5 trillion naira existing non-performing loans, the panelists say it is obvious that there is systemic failure which must be addressed to restore customer confidence. While reiterating the need for transparency in the process by upholding ethics, they also called for liquidity of defaulters' collateral to service such loans.
Anybody who cannot service their loan has failed and is doomed to have resigned. And of course, they should go after them and recover those loans.
What are the regulators doing about it? The central bank, have they done the stress test on the banks to know which banks are okay and which banks are not okay?
Some of the guests also blamed lack of proper risk management structure by some banks, while others called for full briefing of shareholders of the loan situation at the annual general meeting and implementation of uniform interest rates for borrowers to safeguard shareholders' interests.
If you are going to superintend over loans which you have given to yourselves in one form or the other, chances are that you might not book those loans at comparable rates with the market.
They stressed the need for proper appraisal of individuals and organizations seeking loans to ensure their capability to pay the loans. In Abuja, Lydia Sampson, NTA News.
Yola High Court has sentenced former Governor James Ngilari of Adamawa State to 5 years in prison without option of fine for awarding contracts without following due process. The Yola High Court, presided over by Justice Nathan Musa, handed down the sentence this Monday. Justice Musa found Ngilari guilty of 4 charges and discharged him on 1, which bordered on conspiracy. There is renewed effort to tackle the high rate of youth unemployment through entrepreneurship education at the senior secondary school level. Franca Uzoma Alua reports that the Nigerian Educational Research and Development Council has flagged off an entrepreneurship curriculum project with the support of UNIDO.
The Nigerian education system has reached to a critical point where many believe that majority of graduates no longer find jobs and are often considered as unemployable. The National Bureau of Statistics in 2011 further confirmed that an average of 2 million young persons between the ages of 16 and 18 graduate from secondary schools, and only about 12% are able to proceed to higher education. It was against this background that 34 trades and entrepreneurship curricula were developed for senior secondary education, but were not enriched with adequate skills. The entrepreneurship curricula project is designed to enable youths develop a positive attitude to business and self-employment.
The government of Japan has decided to make a fund of $500,000 available for this project.
The idea is to review the 34 trades and entrepreneurship curricula and scale them up in line with global best practices.
This project will contribute significantly to the federal government initiatives on poverty eradication, job creation, and in the process raise the standard of living of youth who ordinarily would have been the source of social knowledge.
The educational system is failing to meet the needs of a modern industrialized society.
The program is being implemented in 27 senior secondary schools in 9 states of the Federation.
Nigerians have been urged to always pray for their leaders at all levels, as it is among the best ways to check socioeconomic challenges. This was the central message during a special prayer in Jos for President Muhammadu Buhari. Muhammad Yusuf Umar reports.
Series of special prayers observed by different religious groups across the country for the quick recovery and return of President Muhammadu Buhari is a clear indication that Nigerians are missing the presence of the president and are indeed hopeful in his style of leadership. The prayers, which was led by the chief imam of Jos, Sheikh Lawal Adam, drew Plateau citizens, irrespective of their tribe or creed, praying for President Muhammadu Buhari, Plateau State, and the nation in general. Speaker after speaker at the prayers emphasized that prayers is the best option Nigerians should leverage on for Allah's intervention in their predicaments. Plateau State Governor, represented by Commissioner for Local Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, Alhaji Dayebu Yusuf Garga, speak.
And beside prayers, we also need to be committed and dedicated in supporting the government of the day, because it is only through the prayers that God Almighty will be calmed down to ensure that we succeed in whatever the country is facing today.
The special prayers had personalities from all walks of life, including the Zonal Director, NTA Network Center Jos, Nuruddin Adeshina Idris, among others. In Jos, Yusuf Umar, NTA News.
And in Taraba State, Muslim and Christian communities organized a joint prayer session for the well-being of President Muhammadu Buhari and the success of the administration. Awala Abdullahi reports from the Jalingo Central Eid Ground.
The prayer session began with a procession which started from the Ministry of Works roundabout through Palace and Barrier Ways to Jalingo Central Eid Ground, where the crowd assembles and performs the prayer. The unprecedented crowd of people from both Muslim and Christian faith offered a special prayer for improvement in the health condition of President Muhammadu Buhari. The prayers led by Sheikh Aliu Babando and Pastor Babayo Rima centered on unity, development, peaceful coexistence and wished President Buhari's quick recovery and return to the country safely. Women and children from both faiths were not left out in the prayer session. In Jalingo, Awal Abdullahi, NTA News.
The National Hajj Commission of Nigeria has moved against middlemen to secure affordable accommodation for Muslim pilgrims embarking on the 2017 Hajj. Chairman of the Commission, Abdullahi Mukhtar Mohammed, stated this during discussions with Director General of the NTA, Yakubu Ibn Muhammad. Abdullahi Suleimani Yaji reports.
Seeking to enhance Hajj operations through reforms such as the introduction of flexible airfares, negotiation of a 600 riyal slash in accommodation charges for pilgrims, Chairman of the National Hajj Commission of Nigeria solicits more support in projecting the Commission's activities, especially the coverage of Hajj.
So in Medina this year, with the support of Saudi government and their various authorities, we were able to eliminate the agent and deal directly with the landlord. This reduction or this saving is not only on the part of the pilgrim, but even on the part of our foreign exchange, which is now very scarce.
And we in NTA will continue to do our very best. You know, you have the primary responsibility of conducting, the Hajj exercise. Ours, along with other agencies, are to support you. And we'll continue to do that, anytime we are called upon to assist.
In a related development, Director General of the Voice of Nigeria, Osita Okechukwu, also hosted the National Hajj Commission, where they interacted on more awareness against drug smuggling to the Holy Land.
Even those that are paid by the states, if they save out of the dollar, they have something to buy or return home to pay school fees with. So I think it's collectively a win-win situation for the Nigerian people.
Chairman of the National Hajj Commission urged pilgrims to equip themselves with knowledge of Hajj operations. In Abuja, Abdullahi Suleiman Iyaji, NTA News.
We now take a bit from our Lagos Network Center. Abdullahi is sitting in tonight. Abdullahi.
Good evening, Cyril, and thanks for joining us in Lagos. Nigerian youths have been advised to take the initiative of restructuring the country for effective governance and sustainable development. Guest speaker at this year's Obafemi Awolowo Memorial Lecture, Professor Banji Akintoye, says youths need to start dreaming big about the country's development and channel their knowledge and energy towards making the nation a major power in the world. Dejido has details.
Chief Obafemi Awolowo, one of Nigeria's founding fathers, was widely admired for his principles and respected for his leadership qualities, the virtues he brought into Nigeria's political space, registering outstanding achievements. The annual lecture series, inaugurated in his memory, has become a platform for cross-fertilization of ideas on Nigeria's development. The guest speaker advised Nigerian youths to stop lamenting about various challenges they are currently facing in the country and rather start putting their education and creative energy into use, just as Chief Awolowo did in his youthful years to develop the country.
Type of youth that Awolowo was when he stepped into greatness. He did it, you can do it. There is nothing special about any of us. It's just that what you choose to do.
Other speakers say Awo's legacy is still very relevant, and the youth should emulate the late state's virtues and total commitment to the nation.
Unless and until the basic governance structure of this country is got right, that all our efforts in many other directions will not come to much.
What Awolowo did as a youth and what Nnamdi Azikiwe did as a youth, that the youth of today can do it. And that we, the elders, must also let off a bit and let the youths rise.
I thank God that I can do this little to make sure to try and get everybody, younger generations, to learn from him.
There is no recipient this year for the Obafemi Awolowo Awards for Leadership. Nobel laureate Professor Wole Soyinka and former South African President Thabo Mbeki were former recipients of the award instituted 3 years ago. In Lagos, Dejido, NTA News.
You're still watching NTA Network News, reaching you live from the Lagos Network Center. We'll take a short break. We'll be back shortly.
The Federal Ministry of Transportation wishes to inform the general public of the groundbreaking ceremony to mark the commencement of the construction of the Lagos-Ibadan railway line with extension to the Lagos Port Complex, Apapa. The ceremony will be performed by His Excellency, the Acting President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, SAN. Chief Host, Right Honorable Chibuike Rotimi Amechi, the Honorable Minister of Transportation. Date, Tuesday, 7th March 2017. Venue, Nigerian Railway Corporation Compound, Ebute Meta, Lagos. Time 10 a.m. prompt. S. Zachary, Permanent Secretary, Announcer.
Babe, what be this?
I got this, okay? Just...
Found it. And you can keep him. I've got this.
Do anything to get your Airtel SIM back on. If you haven't used it for 30 days or more, to enjoy 20 times the recharge value. Recharge 100 Naira and dial *241# to get 2,000 Naira.
Hey, no, there's a girl.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
Coca-Cola?
Oh, it's happy hour. So, you want a free Coca-Cola, but you have to drink it here.
I discovered something that took all my period worries away. New and improved Always Ultra has a comfortable top layer and extra super gel for extra super absorbency. No stain, no check, because gel won't sleep. Happy always.
See? That's it? F.
C.
But she's academically so good. Could have been better. My grade, fitness F. Emotional well-being, E. E?
I want you to play with me until you get tired.
Mom, I want you and the baby to be healthy. Promise. I'll eat healthy foods, okay? I love you.
We will always play together and we will be champions.
Hi guys, look how my baby Jamil has grown. And as they grow, there's a worry we all share, skin rash. Some use lotions or petroleum jelly, but I found what works for Jamil is Nigerian Pampers. It has built-in lotion to help protect his delicate skin and keep him dry. See you in the morning, Jam Jam. Good morning, happy Jam Jam. Dry and soft and no sign of a rash. Join many other moms and try Nigerian Pampers with lotion. Let's beat the rash.
It's finally here, the most anticipated sports show on live television, featuring great sports icons from ex-internationals to famed journalists and administrators. It doesn't come bigger than the Sports Parliament. Be a part of the biggest sports talk show on television to help chart a successful path for Nigerian sports. 11 p.m. to midnight on Thursday on the NTA. Sports Parliament, where the eggheads converge.
We're back in Abuja with the rest of the news. Acting President Yemi Osinbajo has made a case for the international community to take another look at the legal instruments and conventions that govern warfare and conflicts in view of the brutal operations of terrorists and insurgents around the world. Speaking at an audience with the United Nations Security Council visitation team to the Lake Chad Basin region, the acting president said far-reaching measures have to be taken to deal with these individuals according to the law. Nigeria, he said, will progressively review the rules of engagement by not only the military but also across the nation's security system, taking into cognizance human rights issues. The acting president, however, called for more assistance in the area of humanitarian response to the challenges which he described as massive. Foreign Affairs Minister Jeffrey Onyama described the meeting as fruitful.
The Vice President made a very good point that, you know, the nature of the combat with Boko Haram is not conventional warfare. And so it took some getting used to. And our troops are now, you know, much more schooled, as it were, in that kind of fight against terrorism. And so we're now putting in place mechanisms to really take the civilian population along. Mr. Vice President also gave a very good account of what we're doing in the budget, especially our social intervention fund that we're doing, the Empower program we have, you know, for youth development and women empowerment and microcredit facilities making available to women. And this is all part of the governance approach to promote the economy of the northeast of the country.
Ambassador Matthew Rycroft, who led the delegation comprising all the 5 permanent members of the UN Security Council, praised the federal government for its handling of the humanitarian challenge in the northeast, but called for a long-term development outlook in the region. As part of its cost-cutting drive in revenue expenditure, the federal government issues a circular to control spending in ministries, departments and agencies. Details of this and more on Business News with Joy Uzo.
Good evening, good to have you join us on Business News. I am Joy Uzo. The federal government's initiative to take the micro, small and medium enterprises clinic to states may hold the key to the development of that sector of the economy. A development expert, Dr. Steve Olusegun Ogidan, says the MSME sector is critical to the survival of any economy.
If state government can take over from where the federal government stops, then it will build the capacity of the MSMEs to be able to do better in a very hostile environment, because any economy that is in recession is a good opportunity for MSMEs to prosper.
He said the idea of removing barriers to investment in small businesses will no doubt remove bottlenecks and encourage entrepreneurship. It was a disappointing outing for investors in the Nigerian Stock Exchange Monday as stocks bled on the floor of the Nigerian Stock Exchange. The all-share index slid by 1.72%. Next is a graphic summary. The federal government has issued a circular to ministries, departments and agencies aimed at controlling spending. The circular seeks to compel boards and agencies who currently operate outside of budgetary control to comply with the law. Accordingly, all revenue-generating agencies must cut their costs. Section 22, subsection 2 of the Fiscal Responsibility Act states that revenue-generating agencies should remit 80% of their operating surplus into the Consolidated Revenue Fund. Minister of Finance Kemi Adeosun stated that records show very poor compliance with the Act. Some agencies have never credited the Consolidated Revenue Fund despite having salary, capital and overhead financed by the federal government. The minister says such practices are not sustainable in any economic climate and can no longer be tolerated in the face of the current economic challenges in the country. That's it for now on Business News. Network News will continue.
Minister of Interior Abdurrahman Dambazau has reassured Nigerian citizens who fled to Cameroon in the wake of Boko Haram attacks on communities in the northeast that government is committed to ensuring their safe return to their homes in areas liberated from Boko Haram elements. This was at the signing of a tripartite agreement between the governments of Nigeria, Cameroon and the United Nations High Commissioner for Refugees in Yaoundé. Under the agreement, the parties will avail volunteer returnees with security and economic information to guide their decision to return home, while UNHCR will continue to monitor conditions in the liberated areas to ensure that such operations are conducted. Dambazao noted also that the agreement was sequel to an earlier visit to the Minawao refugee camp in northern Cameroon, which holds over 60,000 Nigerian refugees, and robust discussions between President Muhammadu Buhari and Cameroonian President Paul Biya. And for more on security and rehabilitation matters, let's go over to our Maiduguri Center and link up with Lami. Hello.
Cyril, you're welcome to Maiduguri. Minister of Foreign Affairs Geoffrey Onyema says the visit by the United Nations Security Council to Borno will put the crisis in the northeast on the spotlight, even as he commended the military for the sacrifice in combating insurgency. The minister was in the state to receive the United Nations Security Council delegation. Muhammad Ibrahim reports.
Minister of Foreign Affairs, while in Borno, visited the 7th Division to sympathize with injured soldiers. He noted the sacrifice made by the Nigerian military and the effort of the theater command. The minister was also at the Bakassi camp and later participated in an interactive session between the military and the UN delegation.
It's important for the global body, and the UN represents the global body, to witness at first hand exactly what is taking place in the northeast of Nigeria and in the Lake Chad Basin area. So that's extremely important, and also because of the international political dimension of what is taking place here.
During a courtesy visit to Governor Kashi Shatima, Geoffrey Onyema noted the huge resources committed by the federal and Borno state governments to address humanitarian challenges confronting the state, and commended the support of the UN Security Council and the international community. In Maiduguri, Muhammad Ibrahim, NTA News.
And that's the much we can take. It's back to Cyril in Abuja.
Thank you, Lami. The Nigerian Air Force says it has successfully produced equipment locally for testing the anti-skid system on the Alpha Jet aircraft. The new test bench allows the entire anti-skid system to be tested on the ground before installation on the aircraft, unlike what obtained in the past, where tests on the component was carried out on the aircraft. Director of Public Relations and Information of the Nigerian Air Force, Group Captain Ayodele Famuyiwa, stated that the collaborative effort of the force with some Nigerian universities helped in the feat, which has saved Nigeria huge foreign exchange which would have been spent abroad. The feat is also a major plus for the Air Force in its conduct of offensive air operations in the northeast. And we take another break for more messages.
The place of women in development is the focus of NTA Tuesday Live as Nigeria marks International Women's Day. Tuesday Live, informative, educative and engaging. Don't be told. Join us.
There's a situation, everybody's speculating. They say, what have we done to deserve this constant changing? Father, Father, hear us, because we trust the failed us. They say, look to the Lord for salvation and he shall redeem you. Lord, I'm getting frustrated. Yes, I'm losing my patience. I've been waiting for so long. Because this is who we are. It's our reality. It's our reality now. This is who we are. It's our reality. It's our reality.
Airtel, the smartphone network.
The National Agency for Food and Drug Administration and Control, NAFDAC, is working to ensure access to safe, good quality essential medicines with the World Health Organization pre-qualification of Made in Nigeria pharmaceutical products, stiffer penalties for fake drug offenders with a review of NAFDAC laws, national, regional, and international collaborations, cutting-edge technologies, including the mobile authentication service.
NAFDAC impacts upon everything we do, including water we drink, the food we eat. They are important organs to the development of this country. And everybody should come out and join them and support them and help them to achieve the greatest benefits and success that they need to record.
Let us support NAFDAC to win the war against fake drugs and other unwholesome regulated products. NAFDAC, safeguarding the health of the nation.
Now let's get a bit on global news with Oku Ekpenyong.
Militants in central Mali have attacked an army post near the border with Burkina Faso, killing 11 soldiers and wounding 5. The Malian army has sent reinforcements to the area to track down the attackers and assess the damage. A former British Army officer has been shot dead in Kenya. Kenyan police confirmed that the former British Army officer was killed by pastoral herders on Sunday while inspecting some of his lodges. Reports say it follows a pattern of traditional herdsmen invading ranches in the area to seize pasture amid an ongoing drought. And in the United States of America, lawyers have filed a petition seeking the release of an Afghan family who were detained in the U.S. despite having valid entry visas. A couple and their 3 young children were taken into custody shortly after their arrival at Los Angeles International Airport last week. Oku Ekpenyong, NTA News.
And sports now, next with Nainde Sani.
The 11th Nigerian Navy Games in Uyo, Akwa Ibom State came to a close with Western Naval Command emerging champions with 69 gold, 69 silver and 46 bronze medals. Eastern Naval Command placed second with 38 gold, 22 silver and 34 bronze medals, while Naval Headquarters Abuja finished third. The closing ceremony featured football final and invitational relays.
The immediate appraisal of the Games reveals a very positive outcome and a confirmation that the objectives of the Games were well met.
President of Nigeria Volleyball Federation Habu Gomez says the postponement of first phase Africa Zone 3 World Beach Volleyball Championship qualifiers in Cotonou, Benin Republic from March 3rd to 6th to March 10th to 13th will not hamper Nigeria's chances of scaling through. Gomez, who visited the athletes at the Ajabi Lake Abuja training camp ahead of their Thursday departure, believes that Team Nigeria is fully prepared to take on their opponents, which include Ghana, Togo, and host Benin Republic. University of Lagos are winners of the Nigerian University Games Association 3x3 basketball competition decided at the Old Parade Ground in Abuja and attended by 19 universities. University of Lagos defeated University of Ibadan by 14 points to 11, and in the female category, Bayero University Kano beat University of Ilorin by 10 to 6 points.
The competition is throwing more challenge to leaders, administrators, stakeholders, and the various state government.
The two-day competition was aimed at discovering players that will compete at this year's Nigeria University Games to be hosted by University of Agriculture, Makurdi, from April 20th to 30th. With sport update, Nainde Sani, NTA News.
Let's now check on the weather prospects.
Meteorological Agency, I am Blessing Agambi. We expect a little bit of respite in weather activities over the southern parts of the country within the next 24 hours, although some parts of the coastal cities and the inland of the southeast are likely to experience isolated thunderstorms in the afternoon hours. Other parts of the central states and the southern cities will be cloudy with intervals of sunshine. The northern parts of the country will be hot, sunny, and dry. So if you live around this part of the country, be sure to take a lot of fluid and stay in a well-ventilated environment. And that's where we conclude the weather forecast. See you again.
And just a reminder that you can watch all our stories and much more when you log on to our website, www.nta.ng. That concludes Network News Tonight. Well, thank you for watching. Good night.